Welcome back, everybody. It's our favorite time. It is grand finals time. Jerry, welcome back. Artie, myself, welcome back. Chat, are you ready? Is everybody awake? Are we all watching the finals? Because this is like going crazy right now.
Hold up, why did I get a welcome back? You got a welcome back, and then you just shouted at chat. Like, are you awake? Like, come on.
I don't know if chat's back yet. I have to get them in here before I can welcome them back, you know?
Okay, well, I would assume they're all back now, so do you want to maybe...
Now that everyone's back, let's go ahead. Yeah. Now it's your turn, Jerry. Now you get to do the real work. I just get the fun part.
Well, welcome back, chat, to this, which is apparently some esports. We've got Breakout hosting this wonderful tournament, and I am so excited for the grand final of the Split 2 Masters. $500 on the line, and I am so thrilled because this is like just going to be an amazing match, right? You've got a Telco squad, 2-2-3, a Telco, Noah, and Rabinski up against Holtows finest, who have not put a foot wrong today, and it's just going to be a barn burner. I know it.
Yeah, honestly, seeing a Telco and Noah on the same squad is just absolutely insane. No questions about it, the fact that they're here in grand finals. You know, I know that last time during Masters 1, their squad had a couple of rough spots, but it has been a few months since then, and they are definitely ready to make this one work out. Going up against Holtows finest as well. I mean, Holtows finest, they had a fantastic run so far. This is going to be the grand finals to watch.
It absolutely is. But before we watch it, you got to head on over to Twitter, type MVP, exclamation mark MVP in the chat to get a link to a poll to see who's going to be our MVP for today. We have a player from each of the 4 teams that have made it through to the playoffs. Mr. Derp running the light all the way through the Swiss for no idea. A Telco up on 2-2-3, who is up next, the heavy main. Gremliners on the side of pushing 30, who's been subbing in today and to rather great effect, unfortunately just falling short at the final hurdle to make it through to the World Championship. And Green Space on the side of Holtows finest, who's been basically, it was a real challenge to find a player on the Holtows finest. All 3 of them have been playing incredibly, but he's the one we've singled out, just on that back line, doing the dirty work and doing very well.
Absolutely. I mean, every time we tabbed over to Green Space's POV, it was just, oh, he's getting a kill. Oh, he's getting a kill. It's absolutely insane to see him do that work and really make a name for himself on the squad. And, well, if we do take a look at all these votes, it's going to be hard to find someone specific to hone in on, but make sure you go ahead and take your vote over there, you guys, for that one-shot MVP. But yeah, without further ado, Jerry, where is your vote going?
Oh, that's a good question. I was very entertained by Mr. Derp in particular. Seeing a triple light squad run riot on cash out, I think he's going to be the one that sticks in my mind today. So it's got to be him, but you could make a case for all of them, honestly.
I was just going to say the same thing. You see Mr. Derp pulling the riot shield. It's like he's going after my own heart. That's what all I got to say. You know, as the only player in the finals that has stuck with the riot shield for as long as I have, I just got to say, riot shield boys on top.
They are nice. I was a riot shield main back in the day. I played a lot of riot shield, and then I played a lot of CL40, and then they nerfed it into oblivion, and now I can barely play. I can barely shoot straight. But you know, it is what it is, and now it's all about the shotguns, and we're going to see a lot of shotguns in this game, aren't we? 2-2-3, we're running with them quite consistently as well in a HMM loadout, setup, sorry. So, yeah, that's just the way it is right now in the finals. Lots of shotguns.
Absolutely, and that's the thing too, right? So 2-2-3 is going into this with an advantage. Not only are they, you know, they were able to spend the last hour just chilling, watching the broadcast, but that's just it, Jerry. They were watching the broadcast. They were watching Holtows finest, trying to take a gander at their movement patterns, at what they're doing on the map at any given time. That's why the very first map pick is going to go to Skyway Stadium, the map that Holtows finest couldn't get on. That means that there's going to be something fun to start off with. And if I'm being honest, Edelco, Noah, like they're going to be trying to do their best right now on 2-2-3 to make sure that they can get a read on, is Holtows finest going to be playing the exact same way against their squad here on Skyway? If that's the case, going into Vegas, going into Cis Horizon, that's going to be easy for them to try to pick direct counters to.
More importantly, though, how exactly do you counter a team like Holtows Finest that are playing like this? You know, playing so coordinated, so compact. Do you bring out something unusual that they don't know how to deal with? Because we saw, for instance, the way that Pushing 30 were playing with this kind of hyper-aggressive mentality, it just worked so badly into Holtows Finest setup, right? They knew how to deal with that. So what do? Do you take? I think they probably take that as a lesson, 223, and say, right, we've got to be a bit more considered than Pushing 30 were. But they've got this far playing their own game, and they have, you know, not lost a game in all of their runs so far, so maybe 223 know what they're doing. If I look back at the Swiss when it was back in cash out, when that was a thing during the Swiss bracket, Holtows Finest did come up against 223 at no point at all. So they haven't even encountered each other on the server. This is the first time they're doing it in the grand final for $500.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the way that they have to go about the counter is exactly that, right? If they saw Pushing 30 going for that hyper aggression and not working out, you've got two options. First option is you go for a bait play, right? You have to bait Holtows Finest to being aggro against you in a way you can make it work. Second way is going to just be by countering the shotguns specifically. Very hard to do given how powerful they are right now, but you got to have at least one person running something ranged, get a singular pick or 3 picks and run out all their reses, right? But no matter how they decide to go through it, we'll find out now on Skyway Stadium, my absolute favorite map. And 223 Holtows Finest going to be going at it right now. And looks like Vault 1 is going to be in control of, I can't even see. It's going to be Holtows Finest in control of Vault 1.
Yes, it is, and we are getting a brief look at the players on 223. I didn't quite spot what those mediums were running, but we do still have the same triple shotgun lineup for Holtows Finest in blue. 223 sitting on top of that point and waiting for the engagement. He's met with, well, the engage comes to them instead. Down goes Noah, down goes Atelko. Rubinski is the last alive. He will manage to get the res here, and he has to fight off a couple of plays. Doesn't land that second shotgun pellet though, and he's met with the mesh shield. Too many whiffs, if you ask me here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to win this fight. Lamp takes a bit of a beating here, and they are still going right now, 223, but only just barely, as Holtows Finest have kept themselves alive throughout all of this, and there is the wipe. Atelko goes down.
That was painful to watch as Rubinski just kind of whiffed every shot. I think that, like, it got down to the point where he's like, I missed that shot, I'm gonna die anyway. So he didn't line up the next one.
Yeah, it was a high pressure.
It was
situation.
like 4 shots. Yeah, it was really high pressure.
It was strange that he didn't die in that time as well. So, you know, we got to see his more embarrassing point of view. I would have liked to see the other teams as well, because they weren't killing him quick enough. They let him get off a lot of missed shots. So yeah, a bit of nerves from both sides it seems, but it seems as though, more importantly, Holtows Finest are off to the dominant start that we're very accustomed to seeing them take so far today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And check this out. Holtows Finest are playing for the drop play right now. C4 already in place. 223. They got to line up something right now. Jump pad as well. Get that cash out thrown away. But the question is, will 223 try to sip it on the coffee? Love to see it. Will 223 try to go from on top? Will they go for the up top? I hear the footsteps. It does sound like they are going from an upper play. See the explosions coming through those red barrels, trying to delete some of that space up above. Holtows Finest, they're just taking a nice little walk around the sidelines here.
Green Space is very well equipped with every emote. Just want to say, he's got the crushing the little toy soldier. He's got the drinking a sip of coffee. He's enjoying the downtime. And down
the
goes
seal
the
gonna.
cash out.
Yep, the alarm gonna go off there. Cash out gonna jump on the bounce pad. Unfortunately, goes right back up top. Kind of a best case scenario for 223 now. Holtows Finest can't necessarily get a grip on it, but 223 does not finish the steal. Lamp goes out. Noah, the redemption arc right now. Lamp is going to get res through right now. Rubinski and Edelko going to go down. Noah trying to get the res. The res comes up, and Rubinski back up. Another whiff of the shotgun into the shield for the next. Green Space goes out. Another shield shot, and that's going to be the end of 223 as Holtows Finest comes away with the first cash out. Absolutely fun fight, but wow, I just don't think there was any good synergy going across there.
No, it was a little bit disconnected, wasn't it? And it was the same story again. We got to witness it firsthand twice in a row. Just a few too many missed shots with the model, and it is a risk versus reward weapon. It's one that relies on consistency. You know, you can miss a couple of shots with a Scar and still get the same, you know, general damage output from that gun. But if you're missing 2 out of 3 of those shotgun pellets, you're a sitting duck for a good 4 seconds or so, and that's just not what you want to be in a situation of when your team's relying on you to land those shots. But you know, it's the blame doesn't land at the feet of any single player on 223 right now. They're suffering from the fact that they're maybe not quite as warm as Holtows Finest, who've been playing a long day, a series of games that they haven't stopped really to take any break at any point, and 223 just need to catch up to them a bit.
Absolutely. And, well, as we jump onto the construction site here for Vault 2, Holtows Finest playing a very careful dance, trying to figure out where 223 is holding from. An APS turret is going to lock Edelko and Noah into a nice little spot here where they can't get RPG'd on. But from a distance, the shotgun pellets are going to rain in. Vault 2 tapped now by 223. Here's the question, though. Who is going to dive first? We see the jump pad get set up from Holtows Finest. Will HF take the dive first, or will 223 be forced out? Sort of a battle of ego right now. Who is going to be the first to fall?
It's going to be a suboptimal dive no matter what as well, because of this distance, just a little bit too far, and the jump pad's going to take you right to the edge of the wall. Here we go. They do decide to give chase eventually, but it's not much of a engage, as of course Holtows Finest have managed to... Sorry, this is 223 managed to back on up with the Vault number 2. They are heading to C with it.
They chose not to break the zip on to... That's actually kind of crazy to see right now. They did not break it. Now, they are in the business office side of things here. Its own little island on the sideline. And this side office is such an interesting one to hold because you have a couple ways you can approach it. First way is playing from underneath. Second way is playing in the hallway. Third way is on the staircase here. This is going to be their choice. Now, if they do choose to blow through the walls, this could change the entire landscape of this fight. But right now, 223 is actually set up in a good scenario to just play as reflectively as possible. Holtows Finest, though, they're going to dive in first. Glitch Barrel going to stop in their tracks as 223 gets deleted on the staircase.
Holtows Finest found that opportunity, but there is still one standing for 223 somewhere. Must have escaped with maybe a totem in hand, but either way, there we go. He decides to drop off the building to trigger the team score and doesn't find any opportunity to really retake that position. And Holtows Finest get the steal for free 2 seconds before 223 are even back in contention, and that's half the time remaining. I would imagine that's just one fight that 223 have to try and take this and keep themselves in with a fighting chance on Skyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, like I said, this was 223's pick, but at the same time, this is the only map they didn't get to watch Holtows Finest on. So right now they do have the read, hey, Holtows Finest, they're playing the same way no matter what. So if anything, right now they are going to be adapting moving into the next map. But before we get to the next map, we got this cash out, this last fight here. Fire Barrel going to hold off the sideline now as a Goo Barrel holds off inside. Some hit markers doing a little bit of work there to show them that Holtows Finest is on the floor. But the gas at the worst possible time. Holtows Finest has a fantastic hold on the staircase there. We see Green jumping up and Brendy behind him, trying to get a little bit of a height difference right now. Anyone that stands on 223 will not be able to make a way in. I just don't think that there's a way that 223 can make this fight. As Rob goes down, you see Noah going down as well. There's Edelko falling through the end of the game, end of the map. Holtows Finest, map number 1.
That was
223.
That was a shooting gallery for Brendy and Green Space at the end with those shotguns up above. It was perfect for them. Great positioning again. Holtows Finest. It seems like every time we assess a gunfight from their perspective, it's just positioning is really key. They know exactly what the pathing is going to be of their opponents. They manipulate the map to just such a high level that other teams aren't able to contend with. And like you said, that's the first time we've seen Holtows Finest on 223. Oh, sorry, on Skyway today, and they made it their own. They really did. That was 223's map pick, but you wouldn't have known it.
Yeah, it was a very, very paced match for Holtows Finest, given the fact that they only chose engagements that they knew that they would win. We go back to that construction vault fight, and well, they had every opportunity to dive on, but they are very meticulous, knowing the fact that, hey, if we can watch them go in and place that vault, we could probably guess where they're going to hold from. And, they took their time getting set up on that bottom floor push. And that's the kind of strategy. Like I said, Holto's Finest, they just know how to strat. The 223, they go into the next map. If they don't have at least something changed off to not just match the shotgun potential, I'm not going to be too, I'm not going to be too worried for Holto's Finest. Let's put it that way.
I think it's early doors, and Holtows Finest will be very happy that that was a quick map, because we saw 223 not just suffering in terms of the strategy, but also just the gunplay. Like, there were a lot of whiffed shots from their perspective, particularly the first few fights. It looked like it was maybe tidying up a little bit towards the end. They won that fight at the bottom of the staircase pretty convincingly. Or am I mixing myself up? I am mixing myself up. They got the plug. They didn't win any fights, really, did they? So, yeah, they do need to wake up for it, 223, in this matchup. They need to get their aim on point, because we know that they're talented. We know we've seen Atelko, Noah, Rubinski light up servers before, and aim has not been a problem for them. This shouldn't be something that we're discussing, really, for them, but it is. So they just got to wake up a little bit, turn up, and maybe the fact that this is a best-of-5 series will work in their favor.
Yeah, I am. I'm really, really keen to see Noah XFBS and Edelco come through. Rubinski as well. I've been watching their journey for a while. I know that they are good players under the hood. But yeah, I mean, you're going up against Lamp, you're going up against Green Space. You got to be on your top game. There is no room for errors. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Map 2. And again, all right, what is your thoughts right now, especially given where the finals is right now with shotguns? Is there a chance 223 does something other than 3 shotguns to counter? Is there any chance?
For Vegas, there's a distinct possibility, right? Because there's a lot more kind of long-range engagements that are possible here. We'll possibly see it. In fact, we're going Cis, Horizon, Soul. So Monaco being the most sort of close and tight-knit map, as well as Skyway. Skyways, we've just had Monaco right at the end of the list. Maybe we see a switch towards an FCAR or an AK or something on the side of 223, just to give them that option to play at distance. But Holtows Finest, I wouldn't put it past them to be able to adapt to that, right? To be able to see that they're up against some range potential and just manipulate the map to their advantage again. Bring things down to lower areas. Play around those corners. Draw 223 in to the close range engagements that they want, because that's what they've been doing all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get ready to sort of dive into this next one, we'll see what 223 change up to. And here it is. Like I said, we got to see something other than shotguns. And we got one thing other than shotguns. That's going to be a light, an XP54 to see it. And, well, let's see what Rubinski's going to be able to pull off. I know Rubinski was not feeling confident on that model last game, so this is definitely a good thing to see here. Glitch Grenade's going to make a very good range of possibilities here. Lamp already down to half HP, but it is 223 that loses the first member here, but it's already down to just a Lamp Edelco 1v2 here. Edelco possibly going to go down, but no, it's Holtows Finest is the first to fall. It's 223 showing that, hey, you get a little bit of range against those shotguns. That is how you make the kings fall.
Wow, I wasn't expecting light. That is one way to mix it up. I was prepared. Oh yeah, maybe just an F card. No, whole different class. That is a mix-up game that you like to see. And yeah, the Glitch Grenade as well, making a big impact there at the very start of the engagement. So the question is right now, I'm looking on this side. HML is a really difficult one to sort of... It's a balancing act, I like to think of it as. You've got to make sure that Noah is really efficient at staying alive, getting value from that defib and that heal beam, because it's the only one. You're not chaining those things. You've got to make sure Atelko is getting real value from those RPGs, protecting his teammates as well with all of the shields at his disposal. And then Rubinski, really the bayonet at the end of this rifle, the cutting force. Is he going to make the difference in every single fight? We'll wait and see.
And here we do see Brendy taking a lot of damage. He's going to go out first. Lamp and Greenspace going to possibly try to go in for the res here, but as Greenspace goes out, they know that that's not going to be a possibility. We could see Lamp throwing himself into the dogs here just to try to die early. He does. That's going to be a good reset here. And 223, what can I say? They're looking stable. Now, pulling out that light on Vegas, it's you actually kind of said it, right? You get those longer sight lines, those longer corridors, and the scariest thing about pulling light in this scenario is that those shotguns have that one-shot potential, right? Not the SA-1216, but the model. You could just get one shot, could just get deleted, but that's where Rabinski's just absolute masterclass of light comes into play here, as he knows the positioning required to stay away from it. And even though, right, the fights when they get down into it on the vault are going to be close quarters, it's that opening damage that throws Holtows' finest off.
Yeah, and it's not like they can go for like an effective shield play here on the point because they know the glitch will come in after them. Meanwhile, Brendy gets the diving, goes hard, targeting hard the heavy on the side of 223, on the Holtows' finest rather, and that is Telco taken down. Now Rabinski the last one standing, so target prioritization, is that the key here as they get that steal against the run of play? Holtows' finest taken that first point.
Wow, yeah. So, I mean, that dive in was, I think, super unexpected for 223. They were not in a good position to counter it, which is surprising, given the fact that they knew Holtows' finest only had one team fight left in them. You have to know it's going to be a quick push, and they were just not set up in the place. Rabinski didn't even get a good opportunity to give a call out, to get a good shot out, let alone the fact that they had gateways just completely unused that whole team fight. So crazy to say the least, but we'll get started now as Holtows' finest gets set up for vault number 2, possibly the last vault of the map, and 223 is going to have to play on the reflex.
Okay, 223 are incoming. Holtows' finest know that much, but where from, they do not know. Holding onto these glitch barrels, of course, you know, you're lucky enough to find one, you keep hold of it, and it looks as though they're going to be able to grab that box without contention. That already sparks some suspicion in their minds. They're like, okay, why are they letting us do this? Where are we going to? Where are they holding from? C and B both very far away. They opt to head right to the top, and they hear some gunfire.
Yeah, some bullets connecting with Lamp's forehead right here as they try to find out where Rabinski is planning to go from. But unfortunately for Holtows' finest, they did leave the vault just above them. Gonna have to use some util to get up there, and they do. Early damage going through against Noah as he goes down. Lamp and Greenspace down to just few HP, but here it is. Lamp goes out as Edelko Rabinski make their util work for them. That positioning, the pinch play. Holtows' finest thought they had an opening blown through the roof and jump heading out, but it just wasn't enough. And now 223 back in the running as they take 2 to B.
It's unfortunate there for Holtows' finest, as it looks as though that engage wasn't too shabby, especially with the glitch nade we saw from the perspective of one of the mediums, and he got his one. You know, he got the trade that he needed to, but the problem is that if you're not getting the right kinds of kills, if you're not, if the rest of your team isn't also being able to follow up with those, then, you know, you're going to suffer. B, now the site of choice. This is the sort of, I was going to say casino. We're in Vegas. God damn it.
They're all casinos.
They're all casinos, yeah. This is the one that, I don't know, it looks more like a casino than the rest of the casinos to me.
This is the Eastwood. This is the Eastwood district. They're on the roof of the Eastwood right now, and they're on the opposite side of the stage area. So we could look right now over the top of Fremont Street as Holtows' finest tries to find a nice way in. Now, they are going through the bottom floor of the Eastwood, and looks like they're going to try to meet 223 up the top. They know that they can't just try to go for the steal because of those glitch grenades, because of the frag grenade potential of Rabinski right now. But they need to take them out early. They need to get this fight. They've got a lot of time to set up for it, though. So underneath that first floor, Holtows' finest is doing their best to try and figure out the way up.
The towers at the top of each are such brilliant vantage points. We see Rabinski does get a whiff of, well, the whole team, as it turns out.
They do decide. Yeah, they do decide to go up from there, but look at that with the zip line at the top there. Randy comes up and gets a pick out of Rabinski. No way for that rest to come through. Edelko is going to try to get an opening with the RPG. It's a huge opening, and he picks up Greenspace. Lamp at full HP, though. That is a force to be reckoned with as Edelko comes back, but it's not going to be enough there. And there it is, Holtows' finest. They baited 223 into the engagement. They get the steal, and that's 2 steals for Holtows' finest. 2 maps on the board, Jerry.
And no cash outs yet for 223 across 2 maps.
Oh.
It's looking rough, Vardy. It's looking real rough for this squad. Holtows Finest, like I said, they haven't put a foot wrong today, and they continue that form into the grand final. Now they're only 1 map away from winning the Split 2 Masters and claiming that $500 prize.
It's a very unfortunate time to be a 2-2-3 enjoyer. However, I think that seeing Rybinski jump onto that light gave them a little bit more life, right? It gave them a little bit more chance.
You know?
Yes.
That's the key.
Key.
Before this, they were completely flat on Skyway, but here they won fights. They looked like they were taking the initiative. And if anything, I felt like they were a bit unlucky to not come away with more to show for it on Vegas. That was a good performance from 223, but Holtows Finest just edging it out just a teensy bit ahead of them. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was just that. So the last 2 fights of those vaults, right? The first vault on that rooftop area, that fight just was not prepared for by 223, right? No. By the time Rybinski got involved in the fight, it was too late, and he was the last person standing. On the second fight for that second vault, the early pick onto Rybinski meant that Noah had to dive out of position to go for the res, and because of that, with that timing, Edelko was too busy in the fight, and it just fell away from them. So it just this, like you said, unlucky, right? Unfortunate positioning in both of those circumstances, because I think they were waiting for Holtows Finest to come up from underneath and take that fight to the roof, and it didn't happen, and they didn't trust in their own play, right? So I hope that they do stick with the light going into the next map. But, I mean, hey, let's put it this way. 223, right? That's their name. 2 cash outs. 2 cash outs. That means we're going to get 3 cash outs on the next map.
You're right. The logic is flawless. That's exactly how it's going to work. And yeah, for 223's sake, they're going to have to hope that 2 of those go to them. It's not a bad map for lights at all. Sis Horizon, which is up next, and this is 223's map pick, so it could be that Rybinski sticks with that light. You've got to think about how confident Holtows Finest are feeling right now, though, right? They've run through this bracket from start to finish so far, and they've forced 223 into adapting, into changing their own game plan, and that hasn't worked. So Holtows Finest are firmly in control, not just of the scoreline, but just the mental game, right? They've beaten 223 at their own game. They've beaten 223 at a counter game. What can't they beat 223 on? Well, we'll have to find out, and if it's nothing, then they take it 3-0.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a very, very swift win from 223 here, because if that fight goes any longer, if this map 3 ends up taking 223 a little bit of time to figure out, it's going to be over before they know it. There's just no room for fights. And so I just want to see Edelko and friends activate here. But you're up against a squad like Lamp's squad and Holtows Finest. I mean, hey, they got that insurance money backing them.
All right, so Sis Horizon. You know that I love Sis Horizon mainly because the call-outs are very simple. But we got a very quick game on it earlier on. It was super quick, a 2-0 that went the way of Holtows Finest against Pushing 30. We saw just how they like to play it. We saw that they were very just forward. They got into their positions as quickly as possible, and they made sure that they controlled the buildings, right? They're a big fan of bringing these vaults down. That is a huge part of their game plan whenever they're defending a site, is stick a jump pad underneath, get that C4 underneath, bring them down, to the point where I was just counting down the seconds to it happening. It became so predictable. Surely 223, they've done their homework, they've been watching Holtows Finest now. They're going to see plays like that coming a mile away.
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing, is that when it comes to this, if 223 has decided to stick with something that's not 3 shotguns, they will have a distinct advantage if they can put the vaults into specific cash outs. Holtows Finest, they're 2 maps up. They don't care. Right, and Lamp's just gonna dive in and get glitched, because it doesn't matter if you can left click those heads. Now Brendy is already down to low HP here. He's out of the running, but Lamp ready to get activated. Still 8 shots in that shotgun here. It is going to be a 3-on-2 situation right now. Holtows Finest going to be able to take out one there. Edelko Rabinski down to just 2 players, but that's all they need as Holtows Finest loses the first team fight. And this is huge because this means that 223 can get Vault 1 inserted into the campus cash out. So on B, on the rooftop here of campus, this is a huge opportunity for that XP54 to really shine because this is such a wide open area that they can definitely use to their advantage. But Holtows Finest, knowing they've got those shotguns in play, well, they are probably going to try to dive underneath and play from under, drop it underneath, and we know how that works out. What do you think, Jerry?
I think you've accurately predicted exactly what's going to happen. As you can see right now, the movement starting from 223. They are taking this fight on the roof, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't dip underneath fairly soon. Some nice headshots landed there by Rabinski, but of course, that's going to be trash damage as it gets killed right back up. Out goes a frag grenade for good measure as well. He's just got free reign on this roof, like you said. This is a fish in a barrel for him right now.
Absolutely, but pacing with these frags is going to be everything. I really hope Rabinski saves the next frags as they come back and they don't just throw them out instantly. But you can actually see Holtows Finest making the moves through the hallways there, trying to dive away from the damage as best they can. Rabinski repositions the other side, but Holtows Finest, they're going to set up to drop the cash out here. Frag grenade is going to get spent here. Very unfortunate. Glitch grenade about to jump out as Holtows Finest dives up to the rooftop. Lamp goes down to very low HP there. No doubt Rabinski's doing as Noah goes out first, though. That's going to be unfortunate. Edelko out as well. And there's Rabinski. That's a full wipe for 223. And it just looks like a rerun as Holtows Finest paces until they get that engagement just right. They dive in for a singular team fight, which 223 likely does not have time to reconnect to once they respawn.
Brilliant pacing, brilliant engagement. Just top-class finals from Holtows Finest. That is unbelievable. It caught us both off guard, the fact that they went for that bounce up through the floor. We thought we were going to see them bring the cash out down, bank the engagements down, but no, they spotted that there were 2 above, and they do have a chance here to try and re-engage 223, but it's got to be a gung-ho fight. There's no holds barred, and they've already taken casualties. Atelko going down, Noah going down, and it's a full wipe as Holtows Finest take no casualties in the process.
Not a single life lost from Holtows Finest. Like I said, that insurance money from Holto really does go crazy here. And, well, Vault 2 spawns on the other side of the map. They got to run all the way over to the library where possibly they're going to be able to get Vault 2 inserted immediately. Now, if my calculations are correct, Cash Out A is on the fire escape. That is going to be huge for 223 if they're able to take control. But right now, Holtows Finest, they have control of the vault. It's going to be their pace to set whether or not they go to Cash Out A or C.
We've seen them like to play C before as a preference as well. This is where they won their game earlier against pushing 30s on that C point. So we will see if they go there again. They have backed away from the vault, wanting again to make sure that they win every engagement they take. They don't want to be sitting out in the open, especially against the SMG of Rabinski. Moving as one behind that mesh shield is very smart. They have some goo as well to resist them, but the dive is coming in from 223.
Insane movement here, and we can see that Noah is at least able to get a little bit of early damage off on the lamp, which stalls the team out. Holtows Finest, though, they're repositioning and they're healing up. And what is this? He's just deleted Noah in a hail of coins. He's out. There goes Rabinski. It's just up to Edelko getting dove on by the whole team. Holtows Finest gonna get the team wipe. They're gonna get the vault. They're gonna get to choose which cash out. Jerry, it could all end here. A clean sweep of the grand finals would just be icing on the cake for Holtows Finest.
They are really proving their name to be the case. They are quite simply the finest team that we've seen so far in the finals. This is stellar display. And this is a great cash out in most situations. But when you're up against a one light with a ranged option who can maybe find an opening here, you've got to be careful as Holtows Finest. You've got to play your positions very nicely. This is a very standard spot on the roof guarding over C, and they have to be careful basically that they don't take a boatload of damage from an RPG or something bunched up like that.
Yeah, this is a very crazy fight to see here as Noah just dives on early. Edelko and Rabinski gone before we even have a chance to spectate, and Noah gonna go out early in this fight. Jerry, there is only one team fight left for 223. It all comes down to the very next team fight.
It has to be better than that one. That was not great at all. We saw 3 different plans. You need one plan, you know? But, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Holtows Finest head back up to the roof to guard against whatever 223 happen to throw at them. Like you say, this is the last chance, most likely. So, what's it going to be? Where are 223 coming from? Let's see.
Oh, straight in. They choose the front door approach, and Green Space gets started with a nice medium frag grenade. Delivered prime next day, but let's see what's going to happen right now as Noah gets ready to set up some late damage, but it's not going to be enough. Needs to reload that shotgun now. Rubinski trying to find a good opening. He does find a good opening, and there we go. Noah capitalized on it, taking out Green Space here. Lamp going down to half HP, but Noah goes in for the res here on Edelko. He gets the res. Rubinski takes out Lamp, and that's a team wipe on Holtows Finest. 223, they stay in for just a little bit longer. They get cash out C stolen. That is so insane that they're able to pace it just right. Rubinski coming in clutch with that damage. Absolutely insane stuff, but they still have another vault to fight over.
Well, this is the mountain they have to climb. They put themselves back as far as they possibly can. Their backs against the wall. That is the first cash out that 223 have gotten all series. So this has to be the turning point for them. We're heading out towards Vault 3. And it looks as though D is... well, D and A are very far apart from each other. We have that fire escape on A, like you mentioned. And I do wonder whether Holtows Finest, who have managed to make it to the vault first, will prefer that over wherever D is. We haven't really gotten a proper look at it just yet. But there is going to be a fight over the vault here, Ardy, as 223 are close to engaging with many glitch barrels. Well, I say they've got many glitch barrels. Holtows Finest have just as many in their arms as well.
Oh, and here we go. Early fight coming in right now to set the pace as Noah goes down almost instantly. The glitch barrel going to prevent the heal up from coming through, but 223 can't capitalize on it in time. Or will they? We can see as Edelko tries to do some damage. It's not going to work out. Rubinski escapes with his life, escapes with the ability to coin in his teammates. But now, like you said, 223, they've got the opportunity here. Do they take the vault over to the art gallery, or do they push it up to the library fire escape? Now, that library fire escape could be huge because the fact that Rubinski would be able to take advantage of that long distance fight. But the thing is that Holtows Finest, they are probably going to choose to keep the vault up on top there. Wait, is not on the fire escape, is it?
The fire escape. No, it looks
it's
like
not.
It's the far corner. Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Oh, it's the office.
Can get knocked out
this
the window
is
from that position, can't it?
Yeah, it can get knocked out. It is a little bit harder, but the thing is... oh, and it does get knocked out. This is huge. This is actually really good for Rubinski.
Speaking of that,
but the fight is going to happen inside. Noah goes down first. Edelko does get the trade onto Lamp, and he's going to be able to get the res as well. No, he's not as the fight comes up, although looks like Holtows Finest, they missed the first jump pad. It's not going to matter, but Bernadine Green Space, they're back up. They're going to be able to get Lamp up as well, and now 223, it's all on you. Do they take the fight properly? Do they try to fight inside?
They could do. It's up to them. Green Space has just been standing out to me, though. I have to mention him because some of the shots he's been landing has been literally fight defying. And we saw the one prior to this. The range on the Model 1887. You sometimes forget about it, but he's really just adept at centering that crosshair, placing it, and getting the maximum value out of those pellets. We do spot a bit of pink on the far side, and that's unfortunate.
Huge damage as Green Space and Lamp both eat grenades here, and as Brendy goes down first, this is going to be huge. Will 223 be able to get the res up?
Still got the
223 is going to be able to cancel. Let's see what's going to happen. The res won't come through. Holtows Finest just on 2 people, but Edelko goes down. Noah on half HP. Where's Rubinski? Noah goes down. It's just Rubinski. This is it. Rubinski has to take the fight. Edelko's back up. Lamp is going to go down, but Edelko, look at this trade. It's just Rubinski, the 1v2, 1v3. Green Space goes out, but Rubinski on 15 HP. Is he going to be able to get the kill? He doesn't. Holtows Finest takes the win as 223 could not capitalize. Absolutely insane gameplay here as Holtows Finest does what they do best. A clean sweep. 3-0 in the grand finals to take the prize pool.
High fives all round as well. Look at that synergy. Look at the synergy in this team. A near perfect grand final as well, only conceding 1 cash out across 3 maps. Unreal stuff from Holtows' finest, and a fully deserving champion of the Split 2 Masters. Wouldn't you agree, Artie?
Absolutely. Because the fact that they were just able to stay on top no matter what was thrown at them. Watching them go up against the, in the lower finals, just seeing their absolute resilience no matter what. Even when they lost team fights, they came back and they fixed the issues. Coming into this to have a perfect series is insane. Only 1 cash out. It's nuts.
Yeah, it is nuts. It's unbelievable. They've put up such an unbelievable display today. All 3 of them, Lamp, Brendy, and Green Space. Well done. 2-2-3. Now, this is a good side. We've seen this side do incredible things in the server before, but they were made to look bang average by Holtows' finest today. And that is not an insult to 2-2-3. That is a testament to Holtows' finest.
Absolutely. Holtows' finest really showing that they know what they're doing, setting a good pace right now, setting the record straight, that they absolutely deserve their spot when it comes to the World Finals. Absolute congratulations to them. But honestly, I just want to say that there is a lot of really good talent on that team, because Lamp and Green Space have just been doing some insane work.
You want to say Brendy? No? Brendy was also
Brendy's
great.
been doing great too. Brendy's great as well.
Yeah, it's just funny you left him out. Anyway, I don't want to shine a light on that, whatever that is. But yeah, so I was really impressed. I was just really impressed by these guys, and I think that we've got so much to talk through, because this is the end of one kind of chapter in Breakout Esports at the moment, and there's still more to come. You've got the LCQs. It's not over for the likes of Pushing 30, for No Idea, all these teams that didn't quite make it. 2-2-3, of course, they have lost the grand final, but they have gained today that spot in the World Championship. So it's not all doom and gloom for them, having won that upper bracket final earlier against Pushing 30. Here's some replays from the whole series, though, Artie, and this is going to be a kind of a... I feel like this is going to be a Green Space highlight reel in some places.
Oh, absolutely. And just seeing the absolute intensity from Holtows' finest to just say, hey, I don't want to play anymore. Let's just shut him out.
Green Space has died twice in the space of 10 seconds of I said that. I said it up really badly. Here he is actually doing something, I guess.
There we go. Yeah, now it's time to watch Green Space. All the work coming into play here. And honestly, yeah, I did not give Brendy the credit he deserves. He has been there to support the team the entire way through. All of the damage coming through from Brendy, all of the heals as well. I gotta say, Brendy was never out of position even once. And that was a huge key. I mean, watching this as well, like the fights that 2-2-3 won were mostly because the fact that Holtows' finest just was not in position at the right place, the right time.
Yeah.
But Holtows' finest, the reason they won is because they were able to capitalize on every single advantage given to them. When 2-2-3 had to set the pace of the fight, then it was a little bit more difficult for them. But all Holtows' finest did was wait a couple extra seconds for somebody to get out of place, and they pushed that.
I'm glad we got to see 2-2-3 playing especially well today too, because that first map, it really did feel like they just weren't awake, they weren't with it, they weren't hitting their shots. After that, we saw a lot more pizzazz. We saw the switch up from a bit...
Say hi. Hey, it's Lamp. Dude, I'm doing fantastic. It's good to see you, man. It's good to see you still.
We can hear you on Discord, but
I can hear you on
to
Discord.
check your audio on vMix. I think that's probably what it is.
Hello?
No worries.
Can we
There
hear
we
me?
go.
There we go.
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Dude, I am doing fantastic, but like I said, it is so good to see you still competing, still showing up and showing off. And well, absolutely. As Jerry said, actually, Jerry, I'll let you go ahead and take the first question, since that was what you wanted to know about first.
First of all, hi Lamp. It's been great to cast your games today. It's been really fun. We watched a lot of just incredible play from Holtows' finest, and I want to ask you something, because when I was tuning into your stream recently, just to get a sort of check up on how things were going, I know the vibes were just impeccable. That was the thing that stood out to me about your team.
Mental's always strong. It's half the battle,
Yeah,
bro. It is half the battle.
Okay, so that's kind of answered my question. Then I'll have to ask you. What is the mentality when you go into these games, when you go into these tournaments?
Right.
Is it we're locking in, we're going to play to win? Is it we're here to have fun? Is it some mixture of both? And how do you kind of prep the team for that?
Probably a balance of both. I joined these guys at the beginning of Split 2, and I think definitely we always come in to win. And with a game like the finals, with how high variance things can go wrong so easily, with the destruction, you know what I mean? A slab of a wall can fall on top of your head, and there's a lot of things that can make your mental deteriorate very quickly. And so I think with Matt, which is Green Space, and Brendy, of course, we kind of always are. We're always able to kind of mentally reset. Every fight's a new fight, and we have the confidence each and every time, knowing that we can go in and play together and win. And so it's always starting off with good vibes. I think before the game starts, we're always lighthearted, joking amongst each other. But then as soon as the game starts, as soon as we're walking towards that first vault, it's all business. It is all business.
Amazing. Yeah, every fight is a new fight. That is a huge thing. I mean, definitely coming from other esports as well, it is one of the most important things to try to get into your head is that you can't let everything carry forward. But that's actually the next thing I want to ask about is how do you carry forward? We talked a lot about strats versus just running and gunning. How much is your team calming about particular strats when it comes cash out to cash out?
100%. I think we have a certain play style that we like to do. We like to rotate around a lot. We like to find good angles of entry. I think we're constantly looking for our opening. You know what I mean? Like, against the Belize's team on the first horizon point, you know what I mean? We knew that they would be playing under the glass room at one point. That's the easiest approach. And so we were able to rotate from underneath the cash out over to the stairs and onto the jump pad and got our engagement. You need to catch teams off guard, especially because a lot of teams are running APS. And so we always look for that RPG entry to just like, and then Brendy and Matt, I mean, they don't miss with the shotguns. They're just super lasered on, and they always play off of me. And we're constantly communicating. I think everybody calms, everybody contributes. But typically in terms of the timing on when we do things, I typically take the lead on that.
I love that. That's super sick. And one thing I also want to figure out as well is when it comes to, you know, the approach of every patch, you got to kind of dive into what's best. With the current shotgun meta, how are you feeling? Do you feel like this is where the finals needs to be, or do you think that shotguns is just sort of a band-aid fix to the current state of things?
Man, so I came from like a pretty long hiatus whenever I came back to playing Qualifier 2. So during Qualifier 2 and like practicing leading up to that, I was super rusty, and the meta was very different when I was playing more actively compared to how it is now. I personally find it to be a lot of fun, even though Heavy is definitely a pretty compromising class to play in this meta because that model does half my HP. But I would love to see Embark look to buff things rather than nerf. I think the model hasn't been changed from in the beginning. You know what I mean? The model is a reflection of them continuously nerfing the FCAR and the AK just not quite being up to par. I'm always more in the favor of making everything strong because I think that makes everything fun to use rather than trying to like slow everything down, make the game more sluggish. So I don't even think they need to nerf the model necessarily to kind of see the meta get shaken up a little bit. I think just some rifle buffs, and we would see FCARs and AKs back in the mix. Also with Winch and Glitch Mines, which we saw during the qualifiers, that was super dominant play style. And the models just complement it perfectly. You know what I mean? You place the APS down, the Glitch Mines, you stand still, you hook them, pull them in, and then it's over. And once you're man up, the fight's pretty much over unless you make some kind of misplay. So I just want to see Embark make everything strong. Throw throwing daggers in the mix. You know what I mean? What does a throwing dagger meta look like? Maybe not throwing daggers.
I would love it.
You know.
W. I love that. I love to hear that coming from you. Dude, Riot Shield meta needs to come in, all right?
I want to see your competitive
Listen,
arc, bro. I want to see it.
Season 4, the moment, I promise you, the moment that the Riot Shield becomes competitively viable, because listen, if I can get all the way up to Diamond 1 in the ranks with it, I think I can compete with it.
100%.
But, you know,
100%.
Do you want everyone running it? Do you want everyone?
I
running
want
a Riot
everyone
Shield?
running it. We're gonna have Riot Shield qualifiers coming through, but no, for real though, Lamp, it's been super sick to see your arc, to see your spirits kind of keeping up all the way through, and honestly, to see your improvements from Masters 1 up to Masters 2. I'm super happy to see you again in here, and I got one last thing to ask you.
Yeah.
It's what is your plan going into Worlds now that you've won Masters 2? What is your plans going into the Grand Finals?
For grand finals, I know. So in terms of the teams that qualified is Eltalco, and in terms of like the EU teams, bro, like time and again, they are very hard to put away. It may have been a 3-0 sweep, but like those were very close fights. You know what I mean? They arguably should have won Vegas.
Yeah.
Playing HML, the light was shout out to Rabinski. I think he was playing the light. I think we saw how strong HML is, but how small the margin of error is. One small error on their part, and we were able to capitalize it, especially against coordinate. I would consider us a coordinated team. But as moving forward, we have El Telco. I don't know in Masters 1 who qualified for Worlds. But we have Bertz. Of course, Bertz didn't participate in this event. We played against Bertz in the grand final for qualifiers 2 and 3. Managed to come out on top, but like they are probably, in my opinion, probably the best team in the world. And we're definitely able to take games off them. But I think moving forward for Worlds, just want to win it and keep playing consistent, keep practicing, and see where we go. Now, I'm a sub for this team. So real quick, I just want to shout out my teammates, Greenspace and Matt and Turk, Turk is the sub who really is the part of the main roster. For letting me play with these guys. They didn't even know me coming into qualifier 2, and I've grown really close to these guys. And yeah, it's been awesome to play with them. It's been awesome to play with them.
Amazing. I love to hear it. And yeah, I'm absolutely excited to see you. It is going to be Bert's BKO 223 and of course Holtows Finest for Worlds. I'm excited to see you there, Lamp. And yeah, any final things before we head off?
Great cast, guys. Jerry, it's a pleasure to meet you. Artie, when I saw that you were casting and you coming back, I remember the Kachi Rivals days, man. It was such a pleasure to see you coming back. That first set against Belize's team, I dedicated that set to you, bro. But yeah, thank you to
I appreciate
Holtows
that.
Finest. Thanks to BREAKOUT for hosting such an awesome event. And yeah, this is competitive finals is truly a joy, man. I just had a great time. So thanks to everybody involved. Shout out Stars or
Thank you so
for the
much.
camera work. Y'all
Oh
did
yeah,
great.
we love Stars.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Stars fan, but yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you for the dedication. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
But honestly, you were the one that put in the work. Holtows Finest did a fantastic job. Again, Brendy and Greenspace, huge ups to you guys as well. Lamp, thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And congratulations on your big W.
Appreciate
Let's take
it,
a look at the
guys.
leaderboard.